What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Your Road to Financial Freedom. I'm your host, Eric McAvoy, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a money mindset and why I don't think you need budgets. So let's start off with the money mindset. I know in last episode we talked about the mindset shift I want you guys to make towards money and how I want you to view money. I know currently kind of the main way most people view money is, X dollars will buy me X thing. $200 will buy me this pair of shoes. $20,000 will buy me this car. But one of the mindset shifts I want you guys to shift to is, instead of buying things, buying money. Now I know that might sound a little odd, so let me kind of explain it. We did briefly go over it in last video, but with the investing, right? So when you invest money, you're essentially putting money into an investment, and that money then earns money, right? So you're basically buying money. So if you take $100 and you earn a 10% return on it, you've essentially just bought $10, because $10 is 10% of $100. So with the assets I like to buy, mainly being real estate and or dividend paying stocks, with buying money, I view it as buying cash flow. We're buying monthly income. So the example we have here, if you take $1,200, just for easy math, if you take $1,200 and you buy a cash flowing asset that earns you 10%, you've just bought yourself $10 a month indefinitely. Right? Because if we take $1,200 and you buy that, or you buy something that produces 10%, that 10% is $120, 12 months, so 120 divided by 12 gets you $10 per month. So instead of thinking, what thing can I buy with this, you shift your mindset to think, how much money will this buy me? So next time you get a paycheck, if it's $1,200, $2,400, whatever it is, instead of saying, oh, I could buy that new dress, or I could buy this new suit. It's like, okay, you could, or you could buy $30 a month indefinitely. And the thing to remember is, while $30 a month might not seem like that much, when it adds up, it really starts to make a big impact. So if you can take $12,000 and invest that and earn $100 a month, maybe that's your gas bill, maybe that's your, some of your groceries, maybe that's your phone bill and Wi-Fi or whatever it is. And what you can do is you can slowly start checking off those monthly expenses that you have with your cash flow, to a point where your expenses are all covered. And obviously that's the point of getting to financial freedom or financial independence, is to have all of your expenses covered by your income producing assets. The other concept I want you guys to think about, is buying time. So in the example I have here, let's just say you work a job and you make $30 an hour, or it's basically the same as having a salary paying $60,000. So just a cool little trick there. If you want to figure out what your yearly income is based on your hourly rate, multiply it by 2 and add 3 zeros. So $30 an hour times 2 is $60 an hour, add 3 zeros, 60 grand a year. You can also do the reverse to find out what your hourly wage is from a salary. So if we're taking $30 an hour per month, that's $4,800 a month with an average of 4 weeks. I know some months are different, but $4,800 a month. And then if you want to try to earn your salary from your investments, you would need to invest $576,000.
$576,000.
Now, yes, that, relatively, to me at least, that's a big number. But when you think about it, you're buying time, right? So every ounce of that $576,000 that you're putting in, you're buying back more of your time in the future, right? So basically what this is saying is $576,000 will buy you out of your career or out of your job so that you don't have to have a job indefinitely. Right? Um, so obviously, again, have cash cushions, have reserves, play it safe. But think about it, that's 40 hours a week indefinitely. So when you put it like that, it's like you're buying back, let's just say you could save up $576,000 over the course of, 10 years, right? That's 57 grand a year, which is a lot, but just for, easy math's sake. Takes you 10 years, so you start at, 20, you're there by 30. You then just bought from 30 until you die worth of time, right? So it's kind of that mindset shift of, it's not that I want to go buy, this new car, or I want to go buy this. It's how much time can I buy with my money? How much money can I buy, and how much time does that money grant me, right? So those are the two big things that I want you guys to start to think about when you're making money, okay? So shifting from buying more material possessions that depreciate in value and that don't really add anything to your life, shift it to how much money can I buy and how much time can I buy with the money that I make, okay? Because we've all heard the saying, you want money to work for you. You don't want to work for money. So if you can take your money and invest it, and that money then earns you money, your money's working for you. And the example with the 10 years, that doesn't take into account reinvesting, the cash flow that you've earned. So if you invest, $12,000 and it earns you $1,200, you could then reinvest that. So the next year you're earning just a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, because you continually do that. So you get to the 576 sooner than 10 years if you reinvest. So there's that. Now, last question on the board is, what do you value more? Okay, so this is kind of the question you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about getting a budget, okay? Because everyone's like,
oh, you need a budget. You have to be really meticulous with your spending. You can't go out to dinner. You can't buy new shoes. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to be very strict with your budget.
Personally, I disagree. I think budgets can be a helpful tool. However, the mindset shift that you make when you view your income as something that can buy you back time and buy you more money in the future, use that instead of a budget. So next time you want to buy a new pair of shoes, you're like, this new pair of shoes is, $200. How much money would that buy me? Or how much time would that buy me? You can buy the shoes. Don't stop yourself from buying shoes. If you need a new pair of shoes, go for it. But if you have 80 pairs of shoes and the next one you want to buy is $200, you can spend the $200 on that, or you could earn $20 a year. Now again, I know $20 a year doesn't sound like that much, but if you're buying 5 pairs of shoes a year, that's $1,000. That's $100 per year. It really starts to slowly add up. Think about all the different expenses you have. So what do you value more? Do you value having those shoes and wearing them for the next 4 to 6 months, or however long you wear shoes for? Or do you value having $20 a year indefinitely? Right? Forever. It doesn't just stop giving you your money, your investment. It's always there. So my personal philosophy is, instead of having a budget, just ask yourself, would I rather buy this super cool new fancy car? Or would I rather take that money and invest it and be able to retire sooner, or hit financial independence sooner, or travel the world sooner? You can have whatever car you want. Just understand that it comes at a cost. So as far as budgets go, if you're going to have one, that's great. Certainly sit down, figure out what your expenses are, try and reduce them as much as you can, without negatively impacting the quality of your life. But then every time you're going to go spend money that's outside of your quote unquote budget, ask yourself, do I value this thing more, or do I value retiring sooner, buying more time, buying more cash flow, in the future? So that's I think that's one of the best questions you can ask yourself. And it's made a huge impact on my life, because anytime I want to go out to eat, I think, I could go to restaurant A, it's really good, but dinner's gonna be $200, or I go to restaurant B and it's pretty good. It's not really good, but it's pretty good, and dinner's gonna be $30. Well, saving $170 will buy you X amount of cash flow indefinitely. So it's those little minor changes. It's wearing the same clothes you've had for over a year. You don't have to get a whole new wardrobe every year. You don't have to get a new car every year or two. You don't have to get a new place to live every year. You don't have to increase your rent every year by moving into a new apartment. You don't have to do all these material things. You certainly can. Just understand it's going to slow you down on your journey to financial independence, and it's going to come at the cost of buying money and buying time in the future. So, money mindset. How much money can this money buy me? Okay. Again, I always use 10% return just for easy math. It's really going to kind of vary depending on the asset class you look into and depending on how leveraged you are. If you look at the stock market over the average of the past 50 years, it's an average of a 7 to an 8% return. But with me, with some of the real estate I own, I've earned upwards of 70% return. So, and it's not to brag. It's just being creative with your financing and figure out the smart ways to use your money. I haven't done it yet, but there are ways to get an infinite return on your money. We'll go over that in more detail when I do it, because I want to walk you guys through the process of how I'm doing that. And again, I want to just bring you guys along on my journey. So I want to be able to say, hey, here's how I earned an infinite amount of money, and I want you guys to be able to see the process. So money mindset, buying money. How much money can this money buy me? And then buying time. What is your time worth? Or at least how much do you currently get paid per hour? And then figure that out, how much do you make per month working a full-time job? And then how much money does it take invested to earn what you currently make? And then go from there. Last one is, what do you value more? Would you rather have the new pair of shoes? Would you rather have the new mattress? Would you rather have the new car? Or would you rather retire sooner? Would you rather buy the rest of your life back? Would you rather be able to do whatever you want with your time? These are the kind of questions I want you guys to think about and ask yourself, and really try and make that mental shift. It takes time. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. It's going to be worth it in the long run, because I want you guys to be on this journey with me. Because once I hit, full-fledged financial independence, I want to have taken you guys through every step of the process, and I want you guys to be right alongside me, and then hopefully we can go to Bora Bora together. But that's this week's episode. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you're listening on podcasts, please leave a rating and or a review. It really helps out a lot. For episode 4 of Your Road to Financial Freedom, this is Eric signing off.